Welcome to Avant-Garde Entrepreneur. I am so glad you're here today with me, my friend. Today, we are kicking off a new season of Avant-Garde Entrepreneur, the autumn season, at least autumn in part of the planet. So it's going to be autumn for some of you and spring for others. Either way, it's a brand new season. And I'm so glad to be back with you. In January of this year of 2025, depending on when you're listening to this, I talked about keeping it together in a crisis when kind of everything falls apart in your life. And I shared how my husband, John, was diagnosed with a rare medical condition and shared my tips on keeping it together when everything falls apart. Just as a little recap, they were first, go small. And what I mean by going small is to leverage the systems that you have in place so that you can minimize what you are doing personally in your business. And it's a wonderful prompt to put systems in place around your most critical areas of your business if you don't already have them in place. The second was to adjust your quiet time. Now, I know I go on and on about the importance of having quiet time, having some solitude, whether that's journaling or just sitting in quiet, listening to music. And this is a critical thing for grounding us whenever everything in our life feels like it's in chaos. But depending on what's happening in your situation, you might not be able to have your quiet time at the same time you do other times. So, my advice is to keep having your quiet time, but adjust it and know that if you wake up or if you've been up all night and the person that you're caring for or is has also been up all night, then you might not be able to have your quiet time till later in the day or some other time in the evening. But the most important thing is no matter what's happening, no matter how bad things are, make sure to have some intentional quiet time for yourself to be able to collect your thoughts and to get yourself grounded so that you can take care of others better. The third thing was to meditate on your desired feelings. And what I mean by that is to intentionally feel the feelings that you want to experience versus what's going on around you. And that's a lot to cover as a summary. So I encourage you to go back and check out that episode. I think it was episode 60. Gosh, I should have written that down and I didn't, but it was from January in the year. Go back and check out that episode. I will link to it in the show notes. And the fourth is lean on your team. Cannot uh, stress that enough, how much people are willing and ready and want to help you if you just ask them and if you just trust them and know that it might not be exactly the way you want it, but it's going to be perfect in its own way when you allow others to help you so that you can help those that you're caring for. And finally, number 5, oh goodness, cannot stress this one enough, express gratitude. Gratitude is the one thing that no matter how bad things are, if there is one thing or 3 things that you can be thankful for, even if one of those is your own health, that this is really something that shifts your frequency and puts you into a state of receivership for receiving good things, good energy, good vibe, and all the prayers that might be coming your way. So those were the tips that I shared for keeping it together when everything falls apart from January. And that was based on what I was experiencing, what I experienced the previous six or 9 months. Fast forward to today. This is the end of August, and I'm actually the beginning of August that I'm recording. My goodness, where has the time gone? I would love to report that my life is back to normal, but in fact, it's not. And it will never be the way it was. And I think that we can all look back and want things to be the way that they were. But I'm actually grateful that things will never be that way again. And I'm looking forward to the new things that are coming coming our way. I know that there are a lot of adjustments that we are making. And I know that we'll get back to some of the things that we used to love to do and be the way we used to be. But I also know that there are new things that are coming for us. And I'm holding on to hope that the future is going to be even better than I could possibly have imagined before things changed in our lives. And I'm so grateful. There are so many of you who have, oh gosh, offered prayers from around the world. And I am so grateful for those. We really, really feel those. Some of you have sent me WhatsApp messages with prayers where you're speaking them out. And I listen to those things over and over and over again. Some of you have sent um, quotes or verses and in emails, and I take screenshots of those and I save those and I have them in a file. So I want you to know with all my heart how grateful I am for all of those, for you all who are praying and sending good wishes our way from around the world. All faiths, all ideologies, I'll take it, all of it. Thank you so much. I was really leery of starting off the season with a solo episode because I felt I had nothing to say because the energy of the pain has not yet been transformed into wisdom. And the last thing that I want to do is get in your ears or on your YouTube screen and blab about stuff that's not been processed. But something came to me and I felt very strongly that I just needed to record this. And what I do know is that either A, you are silently walking through your own nightmare, that no one else knows about it. You're kind of just carrying it all on your own. Or B, you or someone that you love will have something hit them out of nowhere. And something I share today will be the key or that little gem or that one thing that you need for either for yourself to keep going or to be able to support your friend or the person that you care about who's going through a really difficult time. And even if your life is rosy, even if you're hitting on all cylinders and everything is great and it just feels like, wow, nothing, nothing's going to happen. Everything is wonderful. Perhaps my experience and some of the things I share will make you more empathetic, even more empathetic of others and of those that you serve. My sweet friend, Annie, I may have mentioned her before, might give more of the backstory on her later, but she and I met each other when our husbands were going through a treatment at the same time. And it was a really difficult time. It was early on in the diagnosis, and we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what it was caused from, any of that, lots of uncertainty. And the treatment started at 7 a.m. And John had a really rough morning getting there. And as we do as caregivers, we keep a face up, never let him see you cry, just keep it together. And so I got John into the treatment and settled, and I walked into the waiting area, and there was one person sitting there in the waiting area. It was early in the morning, and it was Annie. And she has been my angel. She's 75 and brings, wow, a wealth of wisdom and life experience, and has been invaluable to me in helping walk with me through this journey. And she checks on me quite a bit. I check on her too. And I was giving her a little update on text about what was going on with John. And she replied, "You just never know who you're standing next to in line." What she meant by that is that you never know the burden that someone is carrying around. So whether it's in traffic, whether you're on your motorbike and there's a person that seems to be an idiot and they're stopped in front of you, or if it's the market and someone can't get their money out or can't get their phone out for their app to pay, and it's frustrating. Just know that if someone's moving slowly or they're out of it, it can be so frustrating. I was way more judgmental than I realized. I didn't think I was a judgmental person, but I've had to check myself and realize, how judgmental I have been when people are moving slow. Because as an entrepreneur, you just go fast, fast, fast. Your brain works really fast and you just get it all done. And you just never know the burden that someone is carrying around and the weight of that. And if someone is moving slow, it could possibly be because they have just a tremendous load that they're carrying around. And so I would encourage you as an entrepreneur, as someone who likely you think faster than everyone else, likely you can do 10 times the amount of work that your peers can do. You're able to assimilate a lot of information. And like me, perhaps you have judged others. And I am just sharing this reality check that I've had with myself to go gentle on others because you never know they're carrying that what they're carrying. And that is the gem of wisdom, one of the many gems of wisdom that I got from Annie. You just never know who you're standing next to in line because she was hearing what was happening with me. And that was what she was experiencing. You just never know the burden that even your friend is carrying. So, whether you are going through a really challenging season or you're supporting someone who is, I've put together 5 self care strategies for social entrepreneurs and caregivers. And my hope is that these will be simple tips that will help you balance your purpose, progress, and personal well being while caring deeply for another. So here we go. Number 1, hold plans and results loosely. Here's the truth. 90% finished is infinitely better than 100% never finished. As social entrepreneurs, we have these massive ideas and these world changing visions, and that's beautiful, but can also paralyze us, especially when we are really, when we have a lot of things going on outside of the mission. So instead, take tiny steps, make one call, complete one task, send one email, then celebrate that win before moving on to the next thing. Progress over perfection, always. Here's an example. Besides my thinking and journaling time about how to process some of the electricity, we'll say, of this into shareable wisdom, I invested 3 days in front of a Google Doc, just trying to get my thoughts out, just trying to get a solid outline together. And I'm recording this on a Thursday. The Wednesday morning before, I woke with my mind racing. The Tuesday before, I'd made a deliberate decision to scrap my to-do list and to go and be with a friend whose husband is going through something similar to John. So that means my friend is going through something similar to what I have been and continue to go through. And I'd had kind of a bit of breakthrough with crafting ideas on this Tuesday and for the episode. And I felt like, okay, I've got some traction. And I felt really convicted that if there's one thing I've learned, people are more important than projects. So Wednesday morning, after I had scrapped everything on Tuesday, I had gotten out of bed and I went straight to my journal and I asked myself, where is this pressure coming from? It was from my desire to finish things, to close the open loops. And in this past year, I've learned that much of my angst is the energy of desire. And it's not that desire in itself is bad, not at all. But for me, desire out of proportion fuels me to set unrealistic expectations for myself, which leads to pressure. And it also fuels me to feel like I'm not enough if I don't do this or that. Now, mind you, this is not conscious thought. These are very subtle things. And it's very much unconscious. And it's not until I sit with myself, get quiet, and ask some really deep questions that I receive this kind of divine download of information. And the best part is that I'm not special. Your spirit is just waiting for you to sit down and ask these questions, and it will give you all that you need to know. So after I asked myself that first question about where is this coming from, next I asked myself, what does lightness look like for me today? I've learned that when I put my desire for things on the back burner, my desire to do, to accomplish, to achieve, when I put all that on the back burner, I feel physically light. And I think my internal light shines brightest when I put all that stuff on the back burner. I feel inspired and free, and my heart is open to receive insights from my spirit. And I give freely to others of my time. I don't worry about my projects or my crap. I just give. And for me, yesterday, lightness looked like going to my favorite coffee shop, Deli Kong, which is just down the street from me, and wrapping up my notes for this episode so that I'd be at peace for the recording today. Lightness also looked like not checking emails or looking at my Asana calendar until after my creative time. And then I had two calls that were personal and high vibe. Another thing was that lightness looked like passing off a project to Kayla, even though it wasn't as perfect as I desired it to be. So I wasn't sure what all was going on in my Asana. I knew that the pressure I was feeling was coming from my desire to do all this stuff. And this is we're still talking about holding plans and results loosely. I knew where my desire was coming from, or knew where the pressure was coming from. It was just in this thing with my desire to finish these things. But I also knew what lightness would look like. And I wasn't sure what all was in my Asana, which is my project management tool in my calendar. But I know that when I operate and flow from lightness, everything sorts itself out. Things might not get 100% finished. Plans will change. But when I'm evaluating my life on my way to the grave, I will be glad that I spent the time with my friend instead of finishing podcast notes, making a call about property taxes, checking on prescriptions, and all the other stuff that was on my list. And pretty much that's how this past year, 16 months or so has been. I put John's care first, and I knew that everything else would somehow work out. I get the one most important email done, that thing that's really nagging you. And if you can discern what that is, it's just that one thing. Let's just get that one thing done. Or I'll make the most important call. And I will allow myself the ability to collapse on the couch at 5 p.m. and turn on a documentary. I want to be transparent. You might think that I go all the time, but no, come 5 o'clock, if, depending on the day, I will plop down on the couch and I will turn on Netflix and I will get lost in a documentary and just kind of forget everything. So I don't think might be a little bit of escapism in there, but it's certainly relaxation, and it certainly helps. It's a way that I take care of myself whenever I'm not looking at my computer or my calendar. I'm looking at something and I can just kind of get lost in it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So holding my plans loosely and holding my results loosely, especially my results, has really freed me up energetically so that I take better care of myself, which helps me take better care of John and also to be a better friend and family member. So hold plans and results loosely. My second tip is to breathe to regulate your nervous system. Your breath is literally the root of your mindset. And we talk a lot about mindset around here, and especially inside Avant-Garde Entrepreneur Academy. And I even co-wrote a book called Mindset Matters. But what actually clears our minds so that we can discern what matters is our breath. And when you're constantly solving problems and preventing crises, your nervous system just stays in overdrive, and your breath can get really constricted, or it is really constricted and shallow when you're in crisis mode. When we take a breath, everything changes. And it's why when someone, whether it's a child or an adult, is in a health panic, the first thing we say is take a breath. Today in the business world or socially, we might say take a beat, which is kind of like take a heartbeat break. So pay attention to your body signals, those sighs, those big sighs. You might do those unconsciously. Notice it the next time. The sighs and the yawns, they are telling you something. When you inhale or exhale deeply, your body's saying something and it's subconscious. Tune in and listen to what it's saying. Ask it what it wants you to hear. You can intentionally take control of your body and mind with a super simple 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Again, that's breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. 4, 7, 8. Do this for 4 rounds. And I encourage you to try this now. That's the beauty of it. While you're listening or watching this, you can do it sitting, standing, walking, driving, on a bus, holding a child, anytime, anywhere, in less than 2 minutes. You can even do it if someone is at you and you're feeling really frustrated about what they're saying. You can even do that standing and looking at someone. It's amazing how quickly it helps. 4-7-8, do it 4 times to really, it really helps settle things down. And the reason is this activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for calming your body and promoting relaxation. So it can not only regulate your nervous system, but it also reduces your heart rate and it lowers your blood pressure and it creates this wonderful sense of calm. It really brings you back to the present moment instead of spiraling into future worries. And your breath is the one thing that you can always, always control. Just so you know, this can work for anyone. John and I just spoke of this breathing thing a few days ago, and it was just for a few moments. And all I did was give an example of how when we're under stress, our breathing gets short or shallow. And when we're at peace, we breathe more deeply. Then a few hours later, John got a text from a friend and it upset him. And when he read it to me with the context from the previous text, I understood his friend's message from a different perspective. And I wasn't judgmental. I just said, well, maybe this is what he means. Or that's what I said. As I listen to that, this is what I'm hearing. And then after about an hour, John told me that he was reading the first text. His body had just gone from a 5 to an 8 on his pain scale, and his breathing changed to really shallow. So John recognized this. We had just spoken a few minutes about this, and he was able to recognize when it was happening. So when it's pain, whether it's physical or emotional, when that flares up in your body or your mind, it puts you into fight or flight mode. And your body floods your system with a hormone called adrenaline. And we hear the term adrenaline junkies. This is not the good kind of adrenaline. Your body thinks you're being chased by a lion and you become hyper focused and your heart closes, meaning you're not open to new ideas. We certainly become more judgmental. You're not open to good feelings and your breathing really speeds up. And it's incredibly powerful to recognize when this is happening in your body. And the fact that John had just learned about this concept about the difference between shallow versus full breaths and was aware of it happening in his body within a few hours when he was in a lot of pain was a testament not only to how easy it can be to regulate your nervous system and regulate your own bodies, as well as teach it to others. And I've shared a little bit of science with you, but you don't really have to get into the science of it. It's simply, and you don't even have to understand the science yourself. It's simply awareness. Breathing to regulate your nervous system, especially this 4-7-8 breathing, is free, easy, and fast, and it works every time. Strategy or tip number 3, make your yes matter. Remember, everything you say yes to means you say no to something else. When you're mission driven, it feels wrong to turn down opportunities to help others or to grow your impact. But saying yes to everything, it really dilutes your effectiveness. So be intentional, Make your yes count. This has really hit me hard. When my time is limited because I was truly dealing with life and death in my home, saying yes to anything else was not an option. It just wasn't. And then when things leveled out, and did begin having some discretion over how I invested my time and energy. I felt like I had this backlog of moments that I'd missed with friends and family, and even the academy graduates. So, taking a meeting about being a TEDx speaker, it was while I was so honored to be asked, it was an exchange of being with someone who mattered to me. So, sure, in isolation, it's only a 45-minute call. And yes, it was an honor to be asked. And yes, it would advance my mission if I became a TEDx speaker. But at what cost? Taking that call also meant an energy shift to being on when I could meet a friend for coffee with my hair up, no makeup on, just be myself. Or I could have the relaxed energy for a leisurely call with my 93-year-old grandmother, who we call Nana. And it goes back what I mentioned before, at the end of my life or my Nana's life, or when my friend's on her mission and needed the laugh as much as I did, where would my yes matter most? What would I remember more? Was it going to be the call about the TEDx thing, or the wisdom from my Nana, or the laugh with Courtney? TEDx isn't going anywhere. And if I miss it, then it just wasn't meant to be. So make your yes matter. Everyone and everything else will adjust. And this is really important. If the opportunity is for you, it will come back around. Tip number 4, do one thing for your physical health daily. As caregivers and entrepreneurs, we are experts at putting ourselves last. And I do mean last. You're constantly on overload, solving everyone else's problems, preventing crises before they happen. But here's what I want you to remember. You can't pour from an empty cup. It doesn't have to be complicated. This one thing for your physical health daily. Walk around the block, curl a water bottle like a weight, lift a big book over your head while you're holding your core tight, stretch at your desk, do reverse arm circles to kind of open up your chest and shoulders that get really constricted when we're hunched over our computers or unconsciously in self-protection mode. Just move your body some way every single day. I'm not talking about going to a gym or running a 5K or any elaborate planning. This can be done while you're in your home, while your loved one dozes off to sleep for 5 minutes, and it will also naturally lead to your breath. Doing one thing for your physical health daily is also symbolic. You're subtly telling your body and yourself that you still matter, even when someone else is the priority. And tip number 5, keep one thing that's yours. Protect something that connects you to your higher purpose, something that's for you and your mission. For me, it was getting free content out to you every week. No matter how many doctor's appointments we had, family emergencies, or business fires to put out, I always made time with my team, even if it was only 30 minutes, to prepare and send social posts for the next week, including 3-minute videos and blog posts. Then they are designed to be things that you can consume and learn from on the go. So find your one thing and guard it fiercely. When you're in caregiving mode, it can cause you to doubt your mission, that it really matters, and that it's possible for you to keep going. And I'm living proof. I had to really take it to prayer whether I was going to continue with another season of the podcast and whether I was going to open enrollment for Avant-Garde Entrepreneur Academy here in a few weeks. In addition to helping John recover his health, I also spent this spring and summer getting my licensing to help keep his mergers and acquisitions practice going while he's recovering. And even though John protects my time as much as possible, this is a shared mission for us. He works and pours into entrepreneurs and makes it so that I can have the space to do things like this with you. Even though he protects my time so much, and this is a shared mission, it would be very easy for me to allow myself to be consumed and everything else to become a full-time job. It really goes back to that energy of desire that I have to finish things, to feel like I'm good enough and all that. And if I had not protected my one thing, that simple act of 30 minutes with my team to prepare and send social posts with free content for you, I would have zero momentum today. But because I did that one thing that was mine, that connected me to my higher purpose, I am now operating from the energy of lightness. I'm being here with you. And I was able to really open my heart to distill some of the electric emotion from the past 16 months into wisdom to share with you. And I had the wherewithal to fix my hair and to get the mic out and get the lighting hooked back up and to close my studio door, trusting that everything and everyone would be okay while I'm recording. My friend, protect your one thing that connects you to your mission, and it will be there when the time is right for you. So here's a recap of my 5 self-care strategies for social entrepreneurs and caregivers. Number 1, hold your plans and results loosely. Number 2, breathe to regulate your nervous system. Number 3, make your yes matter. Number 4, do one thing for your physical health daily. And number 5, keep one thing that's yours that ties you to your mission. My friend, these are not just productivity hacks. They are really truly survival skills for people who care deeply about making a difference, including those at home. Remember, the world needs you to be healthy, grounded, and sustainable. Take care of yourself so that you can continue taking care of others. Thank you for being with me today, my friend. Until next time, keep being avant-garde, changing the world in your own unique way.